Therefore, following the State of the State address, I will ask this Senate to come back to the floor, and let's get down to serious business today. And as we do, consider that there's a reason our priorities did not die in the House last year. Now, we all worked our bills, that's for sure. We did what Speaker Thrasher told us. We worked our bills. But we also had someone working with us. We have a talented, trusted partner and friend 200 steps across that Capitol rotunda, the Speaker of the House, Will Weatherford. And the Speaker has reached out to us again, an invitation to work together once more on a 2014 work plan, on urgent priorities that cross the Capitol, cross the aisle, cross the state, and really matter. The first of those priorities is to protect Florida's most vulnerable. Since the passage of the Jimmy Rice Act, 594 sex offenders have slipped out the side doors of the criminal justice and civil commitment systems in this state. Gaps in the law, inconsistencies by state agencies, local law enforcement and prosecutors not giving the tools that they need. Whatever the causes, the consequences are chilling. 594 predators caught and then released to stalk, violate, and murder our children again. Today, in this Senate, that will end. Now, we can't legislate the evil out of evildoers, but today 4 Senate committee chairs, bipartisan, working together, will bring us legislation that prosecutors, police, and parents have asked for. We will protect our children, and we will scorch the earth against sexually violent predators. And we're going to start today because we cannot waste one more day, and we cannot lose one more child. We will take up long overdue reforms to safeguard the elderly in adult living facilities. We'll reform a child welfare system so porous that 430 children in the DCF system have disappeared or died in the last 5 years. We will toughen the laws against human trafficking, and we will care for its victims. Our budget will increase funding for child advocacy centers, ensure that every child caught up in the court system has a guardian ad litem to stand next to them, to advocate for them. And we will end the long critical needs waiting list of disabled children who are standing in line, sitting in their wheelchairs, waiting for services from the Agency for Persons with Disabilities. We will end the waiting list this year. Now, while we in the Senate are acting today to make Florida the most unwelcome place in America for those who would harm our children, the House of Representatives this afternoon will take up the second of our 2014 work plan priorities: to make Florida the most welcome place in America for our military, their missions, and their families. What we're calling the Florida GI Bill will expand educational benefits for our veterans, provide scholarships for our Florida National Guard members, help our returning and retiring military start businesses in this state and get jobs in this state. Our GI Bill will cut red tape so physicians leaving the military can practice in Florida immediately. And the Florida GI Bill will renovate our remaining National Guard armories within 2 years so that our soldiers have the equipment and the facilities so that when they're called to a natural disaster in this state or they're called to arms in a foreign deployment, that they'll have the best equipment, that we'll send them with all of the support that they need. And we'll go national with a campaign to recruit military families from all over this country to make Florida their permanent home. Our mission is nothing less than to make Florida the welcome home state for our military and their families, to make Florida the most military-friendly state in America. The third shared House-Senate priority is to double down on transforming our education system into a pathway out of poverty that leads to jobs. I spoke of the extraordinary success of our career and professional education academies. Well, now it's time to lift the limit on career technical education so that more students from middle school to high school to college can take more courses and earn more industry certifications so their education can be a real passport to the job market. The pathway out of poverty is education, education that qualifies you for a real job. Our education committees will ask you to support the University System Board of Governors in establishing metrics of performance for our state universities and tying funding to that performance so that more students can actually earn degrees, and those degrees can actually qualify students for real jobs. It's time to end another waiting list. 10,000 low-income families are waiting in line for their children to attend schools that meet their needs, schools of their choice. It's time to expand school choice in Florida by expanding the tax credit scholarship program. Now, school choice goes hand in hand with financial accountability and student achievement. They're all part of the same transformational policy. The performance of tax credit scholarship students ought to be assessed like the performance of any other child. Why? Not just a test. Testing isn't just about scorecarding, it's about measuring academic progress so schools and teachers can customize instruction, so that teachers can meet individual student needs, so parents will know how their children are really doing, and so taxpayers can be sure how their money is being spent. There's another scholarship program that deserves our support as well. Every year, the cost of a Florida prepaid contract goes up by an automatic 15%. If you bought a Florida prepaid contract for a 4-year university plan for a newborn today, Senator Lee, almost a newborn, not you, but Faith, the cost, Senator Lee, would be $53,729 to buy a Florida prepaid for Faith. Now that price slams the door on the dreams of many low-income and moderate-income parents and grandparents who want to help their children and help the children they love go to college. Our work plan calls for ending the automatic price increases, which will save the average Florida family $10,000 and help put college within the reach of more families of modest means.